They have just admitted that the Fever are bigger than them.
Did you see what just happened? The Indiana Fever, a WNBA team, is now valued at an astonishing $500 million, more than some NBA franchises. And the driving force behind this surge? One rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. So, how did a WNBA team skyrocket in value seemingly overnight? How did Caitlin Clark leave such an indelible mark on the league? Let's dive into the details and uncover why billionaires are now eyeing the WNBA as the next big investment opportunity.
If someone wanted to buy the Indiana Fevers right now, it would cost them $500 million.
Let's dive into how Caitlin Clark has completely revolutionized the basketball world and why it's grabbing the attention of everyone from passionate fans to billionaires. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. The Indiana Fever just had their most successful season ever, breaking viewership records, and it all comes down to one person. Caitlin Clark's influence didn't just boost the Fever, it sent shockwaves throughout the entire WNBA, making a lasting impact. Now, let's break down the numbers.
By calculations, he's responsible for 26.5% of the league-wide activity. Total viewership due to Clark is up 300%, and 45% of broadcast value came from Fever games. And the league's merchandise sales went up 500%, with Clark number 1 followed by Reese number 2.
Did you know that viewership has surged by an astounding 300%? Yes, you read that right, 300%. That's the sheer power of Caitlin Clark's influence. She's not just altering the game, she's sparking a revolution. But what if I told you that Clark's impact is really shaking things up in Indiana? Remember when the NBA was the undisputed king of basketball? Well, buckle up, because the Indiana Fever just turned the tables. The Pacers, an NBA team, are now playing second fiddle to their WNBA counterpart. How did this David versus Goliath story unfold? Let's break it down. Just take a look at what was written when Clark was named Business Athlete of the Year.
So these are just some parts of the article. The Indiana Fever are now a global brand that the Indiana Pacers can only hope to replicate.
Typically, NBA teams overshadow their WNBA counterparts in the same market, drawing more media attention, larger crowds, and bigger paychecks. But Caitlin Clark's arrival in Indiana has completely flipped that dynamic. The Fever aren't just competing with the Pacers anymore, they're leaving them in the dust.
But the Indiana Pacers have admitted that the Fever are the bigger organization of the two, which is mental. Which once again proves why Clark is the choice's best sports business athlete of the year. She's unlocked the power of women's basketball, women's athletics, with a following strong comparison to Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls.
You might be thinking, come on, a WNBA team can't really outshine an NBA team, right? Well, think again. The Pacers themselves have admitted it. They've recognized that the Fever is now the bigger brand in town. Can you believe it? An NBA team is now looking to their WNBA counterpart for inspiration.
Probably generates more money. The Fever have more fans. The Fever generates more social media clicks. The Fever probably sells more merchandise. I'm not joking.
Have you ever wondered how the Fever is outshining the Pacers? Let's break it down. Fan engagement for the Fever is through the roof, with their games packed to the brim, while the Pacers are still struggling to fill their seats. When it comes to merchandise, Fever jerseys and gear are flying off the shelves faster than the Pacers can restock. On top of that, the Fever's social media presence is booming, with millions of fans tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark's electrifying highlight reels. And here's the cherry on top. Caitlin Clark has had an incredible impact in Indiana, contributing a staggering $26 million to the local economy.
Numbers are so staggering they don't even seem real, but Caitlin Clark alone had a $36 million economic impact in Indy. $36 million. Now let's take a breath for a minute and think about this. That's for 1 year. We're talking about...
You've heard that right. This incredible insight comes from researcher Dr. Ryan Brewer. Isn't it amazing? Now here's where it gets really intriguing. The Fever are projected to potentially out-earn the Pacers in certain areas. Yep, you read that correctly. Outside of TV revenue, where the NBA still holds the upper hand, the Fever could actually generate more from individual sponsorships and merchandise sales. That's completely unprecedented in the world of professional basketball.
You do realize everything other than TV revenue the Fever probably are going to make more than the Pacers next year. I'm not joking. I think individual sponsors, it's going to probably cost more to be a Fever sponsor, or at least cost somewhat comparable. So yeah, obviously the Pacers make more money because of the TV profits, the TV deal.
Can you imagine a WNBA team dominating an NBA market in Indiana? Well, it's happening right now. The Fever has become the hottest ticket in town, capturing both hearts and wallets. This isn't just a success story, it's a seismic shift in the basketball world. The Fever's rise proves that with the right star power, a WNBA team can outshine its NBA counterpart in both cultural impact and brand strength. The Fever have blossomed into a global brand, with Caitlin Clark shining as its star, while the WNBA has faced financial struggles over the past 20 years and is projected to continue facing challenges. But this season, the Indiana Fever are unfazed. With Clark leading the charge, they're poised to thrive and turn a profit.
People saying like, oh, the WNBA made a $50 million loss. Yeah, the Indiana Fever didn't. The Indiana Fever did not make a loss. Like, the Indiana Fever sold out every single game last year. Their commercial revenue was through the roof. The Indiana Fever made huge profits. They made absolutely huge profits.
You might be wondering, okay, but how does this translate to dollars? Well, hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets exciting.
And like, I don't think people realize that if anything, the value of the I would say, if someone wanted to buy the Indiana Fevers right now, it would cost them $500 million. And I'm not joking. You might be saying, oh, that's way too much. Like, the Dallas Wings before Page sold 1% for $2 million?
That's absolutely right. The Indiana Fever, a team that was barely on the radar just a year ago, is now valued at an impressive $500 million. That's more than some NBA teams.
I can guarantee you the Indiana Fever are worth at least double what the Dallas Wings are, purely because of her.
Guess what? This is just the beginning. The Fever's incredible success is setting off a chain reaction that will completely reshape the basketball landscape. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's focus on how Caitlin Clark's influence is reaching far beyond Indiana and shaking up the balance between the WNBA and NBA. Here's the exciting part. This season, the WNBA has recorded higher TV ratings than some major NBA games. And no, it's not the Pacers. Clark's matchups are consistently drawing more viewers than even established NBA superstars. Can you believe it? Her game against Angel Reese attracted an astounding 2.5 million viewers, numbers that make sports networks absolutely salivate.
Sunday's game between Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever and Angel Reese's Chicago Sky is expected to break records. Ticket prices to see the rivals play are the most expensive for a WNBA game ever, according to TickPick. The cheapest seat to see the game cost around $250, with the most expensive ticket on sale for more than $9,000. The rematch comes on the heels of the Reese-Clark rematch last Sunday, which was the most watched WNBA game in 23 years, according to CBS Sports. The contest averaged 2.25 million viewers and reached its peak at 3 million viewers.
In stark contrast, the NBA has faced challenges in recent seasons, struggling to maintain viewership with declining numbers and growing concerns about fan engagement.
ESPN opening doubleheader averaged 1.6 million viewers, down 42% from 2023 when the debut with Victor Wembanyama had occurred. So it looked like the NBA viewership is down nearly 50%. And I'm here to tell you, this is not a good look. Now, it goes on to say the Bucks versus 76ers averaged 1.7 million views, down from 2.5 million views from the Celtics versus Knicks game in 2023.
But it's not just about the stats. Caitlin Clark is redefining how we view women's basketball. What was once just a game has now transformed into a captivating event. Fans are blocking off time in their calendars to catch her performances, setting reminders on their phones so they don't miss a single moment of her magic. The impact is undeniable. Average annual attendance is reaching all-time highs, fueled by Clark's magnetic appeal and the vibrant energy she's brought to the game.
Take a look at this line chart. We can see the dip in 2021 because of COVID, and then this huge spike in 2024.
We all know that the effect of what Caitlin Clark has done has been a huge benefit to the sport of basketball, especially on the women's side. WNBA is not oblivious, and according to sources, will eventually schedule a Fever game overseas. Privately, the plan is to market the Fever like their America's team. Clearly, that's something that's only been on the cards for the last number of months, because they did a horrific job of marketing the Fever for quite a while, and they realized, like, oh yeah, we kind of messed up. Scheduling a Fever game overseas. Hope WNBA is fully on board to capitalize. If they don't think Kathy should be replaced, I agree with that.